a message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib
Like I'm Gatsby. I need
in
it.
hand. Just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose.
Yes, the boys are back. Mr. George Carmona, Nick Dais. We are here, the number one sports betting vibe on the internet. Thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe on Apple, on Spotify. If you're watching us on the You're Welcome Network, please leave a comment. Hit us with a like button.
Do it.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers here on the You're Welcome Network. And show the boys some love on the internet. You know, show some love on the socials at Veterans Minimum is where you can find everything. George, how you doing, man? How was Christmas at the Carmona estate?
Christmas at the Carmona estate this year was fun. A lot of Cuban Christmases always end up just being a shouting match over 20 people at a dinner table, and you just have to be quick with it. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, in some families, and it sucks to say, but like, you know, like when there's not a lot of food available, and then the food gets brought out, and everybody jumps on the food and they take it. Imagine that, but in conversation form. That is what a Cuban household is like. Everybody's fighting for their attention. And that's why I do what I'm doing right now. I talk for a living because of Cuban Christmas dinners and me having to fight for my attention. So it was fun. It was status quo per usual. Got a lot of good gifts. I'll be truthful here. One of the gifts I got, okay? I got cash from the family, and we've made 2 casino trips, me and the boys and Cameron.
Yeah.
It was a free roll. And it was fun. How was your Christmas though, brother?
Oh man, my Christmas was like Bash at the Beach 1997. For my wrestling fans out there, it was explosive for many reasons. Where do I start? I also received cash for Christmas. And yeah, I invested it in the sports betting markets. Listen, I'm 34 years old, bro. What can you get me? Right? Like, look, I don't want to come off as like arrogant or you know, full of myself or whatever, but like, I'm not into jewelry. I've never been a jewelry guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm bringing back the Movado watch I had told you about that my parents got me like 7 years ago for Christmas, when like my parents were in a pretty tough spot financially. And they hadn't, you know, like growing up, bro, my mom hates when I tell this story, but I'm like, yo, Mom, we're good now. Like these stories, they build character, and it's a lot easier to discuss this on a public forum because things have turned out better, right? It's the same reason why, like, when I meet people, I kind of like to say, like, yeah, I dropped out of college because it worked out. If it didn't, you'd be like, yo, Nick, I don't think you should be telling people that you dropped out of college. But, you know, now we're doing better. But at the time, there was like a couple Christmases, bro, in a row. That's why I love playing Santa Claus now more than ever. Because there was a lot of Christmases, dude, where like I got a pat on the back, like, Merry Christmas, bro. We just can't afford to get you anything. And I don't want to also come off as like, bro, we were struggling. Like, no, my parents, I always tell people, like, my family, until maybe like I moved to Vegas, bro, and I started doing better and I could contribute to things, it really was like, whew, we got through March with the bills kind of thing, you know?
Yep.
So I got a bunch of cash. I got like $1,000 gift from one of my family members because they hadn't seen me in a while, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is crazy. This is like 5 edits." So yeah, I kind of did the same thing, and then you know, I'm on the couch watching the Christmas games, right? Like I have my laptop, I'm watching the Knicks. Then I got the Cowboys game on, and then after that, it was the Lions game, and then I also have, you know, the Spurs game on my like I'm watching everything. I have a aunt that I'm not really a big fan of. And growing up, they kind of would like talk shit about my dad because my dad sold coffee for a living, and he like I have a lot of family members that are police officers, or they're lawyers, they're doctors, they have like prestigious respectable jobs, and my dad to this day sells breakfast sandwiches on the corner, so people kind of would like scoff at him, right? And you know how I am, bro. Like
Petty
you're
king.
you're not gonna say that stuff around me. And then like growing up, when like I did anything, whether it was school related, or on the 2-3 times that it was school related, or like in athletics, my family would dead ass be like, well, he's gonna end up selling eggs like his dad. Like we don't want to hear about all the promise. Like, so like, bro, you know me. It's like, well, I remember that shit. I ain't gonna let you just forget that. So like, me and this aunt, we just always butt heads, and she's just like, are we only gonna watch this today? And she said it like addressing the room, and I'm there, and I was just like, yeah, the channel's not changing, and if you have a problem, you could have just stayed at your crib. There's a reason why we did Christmas at the house here, because the TV is not changing unless I'm changing it, right? And then like there's another thing that upsets me, bro. And I know I'm putting family business out there, but like I really don't give a fuck. I got an autistic cousin, right? He's 18 years old, and the way the family treats him pisses me off. So when he sees me, he's like, Nikki. He calls me Nikki. He's like, Nikki. And he's mad, like, lovey. Like, bro, he high fives me like every 5 minutes. Right?
Love it.
And like the way the family would talk to him, bro, like it was getting me mad. They're like, stop, you're being annoying to him. Leave Nick alone. He doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't. I was like, yo, let him rock. Yanni's his name, like Giannis. I'm like, yo, let Yanni rock, bro. Like we're chilling, man. Like, this is my boy. This is my boy.
Good luck,
and, like the way they were talking to him was like crazy, and it was upsetting me. And he was telling me, he's like, Nikki, people pick on me in school. I go, bro, you know what we got to do? I was like, listen, bro, we got to get you in jiu-jitsu.
Oh my.
I was like, listen, you got the tism, bro. That's like the best base for jiu-jitsu.
It's true. It's
right?
true.
There's a bunch of memes in the jiu-jitsu community that like, yo, you know, like we all got a little bit of it, right? And I'm like, yo, bro, you go. I'm like, listen, I'm like, Yanni, I'm gonna show you 2-3 things right now. If you train this, ain't nobody gonna make fun of you. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna stop. The bullying's gonna stop.
Nick doing the Lord work.
You're gonna be a killer, bro. He's like, I like this. And then I was showing him videos about me. He's like, dude, you're doing that? I was like, yeah, bro. So then I was also, shout out to Jerry and Shane, my dogs, the Shapiro brothers. They've been on the show. I was showing them a video. I was just showing him pictures of them. And I was like, hey, you see these two guys here? He goes, yeah. Who are they? I was like, they're my coaches. And I was like, they're two of my best friends in Vegas. I was like, do you see Uncle John? Uncle John is like 6'5", right? And he's always been like the tough guy. Got a black belt in Taekwondo. He's never thrown a kick. Like I'm sure you have family members that embellish. I go, Yanni, you know Uncle John? He goes, yeah. I go, do you know what Jerry can do to him? He goes, what could he do? What could he do? I'm like, he's gonna, I'm like, yo, he's gonna ragdoll this dude. He's like, yeah. I was like, that's what jiu-jitsu is, bro. Like, it has nothing to do with the size of the person. It's all technique. So I was just like convincing them, and the whole time he just kept going like this. He's like, jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, yo, let's get it, bro. Let's get it. So like, just giving you guys a little context to my family, and that's why I'm kind of also the way I am, right? Like, I've also told you stories in the past, and I apologize for rambling, but I wanted just to give you a little insight on like my life and like how I grew up. Like, bro, there's a reason why when I tell you stories about your brother's draft day party and like a cousin's wedding, and then my mom would be like, if you don't go to people's weddings, they're not going to come to yours. And I'm like, you're making this way easier than I thought it would be. So like, I didn't like that shit, man. I got a soft spot for people like that, especially when it's in your family kind of thing.
Of course.
And like, I know you, to pull the curtain back, you used to work with autistic kids when you was a teacher. So like, I know we've spoke about this in the past, how you're like, yo, bro, those are my fucking people. Like I love them and shit. So yeah, man, it was an explosive Christmas holiday. I went a little shopping selfishly after, with the money too. So it was cool, man. It was a good time overall.
That's a dope holiday break. I like the way you broke down Christmas and the situation with your aunt. And I have to ask, what would you rather watch on Christmas Day? Like, are we going to watch a Christmas movie? Like, I'm over it. All right. We've seen we've been having Christmas shoved down our throats since the end of Thanksgiving. Like, I don't want to watch a Christmas movie. We're getting some of the greatest entertainment. NBA crushed the NFL on Christmas Day this year. Again, and I think this was the NFL's scheduling team. They got this one wrong at the beginning of the year. Great matchups, week 17. Amazing matchups. However, you should have had some of those on Thursday instead of the shit that they put out there for us. But the NBA was cool. I mean, dude, watching the Spurs and Wemby at any point in time could quite possibly be one of the most, how you always said, like a blank check athlete.
Yes.
Wemby is, I don't even need a check, but it's like whatever streaming service he's on, blank check. I'm buying it. I'm watching him. That's how good he is.
Bro, so I love this because we didn't really have NBA on the docket. And as you were talking and you mentioned that game in particular, I want to just touch on something real quick. As a Knicks fan, and I'm watching that, the Knicks beat them in the NBA Cup. It's a 1-game sample size. I don't want to overreact, but it got me thinking, bro. Like, I think if you're a team in the West or in the East, you know what you should be praying for, bro, on a nightly basis? Wemby's health. I don't think anyone can beat the Thunder except the Spurs. The Spurs have now beaten them 3 straight times. SGA even said, yo, they're the best team in the league. They always beat us. And there's like a rivalry. A lot of the Spurs guys think they're better than the Thunder guys. They just haven't gotten the shine. Wemby's like, yo, bro, don't compare me to Chet Holmgren ever. Right? There's a compilation going around, dude, on TikTok of Lou Dort like purposely like fouling people. It's really nasty shit. And I was just like, oh my God. And they're like, the Thunder PR team cleans it up. Because the Thunder have this like great reputation, but this was like a 7-minute video on TikTok of them doing like, leaning the knee out when people are crossing in the paint, shit like that. And the reason why I bring this up, bro, is because the Knicks can't beat the Thunder, in my opinion. But the Spurs could beat the Thunder, and then the Knicks could beat the Spurs. So, like, I'm looking at Spurs 25-1 to win the title. Spurs plus 800 to win the West, right? It's a gauntlet in the West. Like, even if you're the Thunder, you'd have to go through a Minnesota probably. You'd have to go through a Lakers, a Nuggets, a Rockets, like a Spurs. You're going to run into these juggernauts. But, dude, I was thinking the same thing. And as a Knicks fan, the Knicks have played the game before that. And I was just like, man, it's one of those scenarios. I've told you this in the past as a Giants fan, how like when the Giants beat the Packers in the playoffs in 2011 and then the Niners beat the Saints, I was like, oh my God, we're going to the Super Bowl. And even though the Giants took overtime to beat the Niners, it was just one of those matchups where I was like, yeah, as long as we don't play them, we have a legitimate chance.
Yep.
And that's kind of how I feel like watching the NBA. I'm like, man, the Thunder are a matchup nightmare for everybody but San Antonio. And I need the Spurs to beat them in order for the Knicks to have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is nuts. And you got to see on Christmas, they really turned up the intensity, the Thunder did, to try to right the ship. You know what I mean? I think they see them one more time before the year ends. And the thing I love the most about this matchup is that you got both teams at rather full strength of health, minus this Wemby occasional or the minute restriction in getting him back, it's still just they're a frightening team. I do not believe in the coach for the Spurs. I think that is their Achilles heel, and I think it'll expose itself when the time's right. But you know what I mean? Going back to the NBA Cup, and this is the last thing I'll say on the NBA. Like there was a coach getting a technical foul in basketball means a lot, right? Like if you're a good coach, it's for momentum, it's to get your players to buy back in. I remember watching the NBA Cup and the Spurs coach, don't know his name, pardon me. He's Spurs coach till he wins the title in my eyes. He got a technical foul on like a nothing burger of a play, and I just felt like it had no added momentum given to his team, and they ended up losing the NBA Cup anyways. I mean, we know what the final result of that was, but his lack of being able to understand that moment in a big game was all I needed to know for when playoffs come around, how I feel about that portion of the Spurs. So I'm rooting for him because I too think that it would be fun to watch San Antonio and Wemby just all the way into late June, early July. It would be a lot of fun. But we'll see. We'll see. Anything else from the NBA that you wanted to add?
Name of the Spurs coach, though I agree with George, is Mitch Johnson. Was appointed head coach from Greg Popovich. He was the heir apparent to the throne that Greg Popovich. But you know what, bro? To your point, and the last thing I'll say is kind of the same way we felt about Mark Daigneault in the Thunder. It's like, hey, man, young coach, kind of unproven. But now you're looking at it like, yo, he's might be the best coach in the league. It's him, Carlisle, Spoelstra. Like he's in that discussion now that he is accomplished. Because in the beginning, you're kind of like, well, he got to prove something in a big spot, and then he does. The one thing, last thing, and I know I've said last thing a bunch of times now, with the Spurs, it's like, are they a year away? But then from a betting standpoint, it's like now is when I want to bet on them in case the year is now, because starting the season next year, they'll probably be a top 3-4 favorite. So I'm excited for it, man. Listen, when the NBA is done right and guys are actually playing like they give a fuck, that game in particular was the only game that I watched on Christmas. Well, and the Wolves and Nuggets, the night game, because Anthony Edwards, anytime he plays against another alpha, he thinks he's that guy. And, he had a 40-piece. Jokic had a fucking absurd
50.
game. Yeah, bro, dude, Jokic drops 55, 16, and 15. And that's what it takes for you to be impressed, because when he does 38, 16, and 11, you're like, oh yeah, it's a Jokic game. You're like, what the fuck is going on? That's a career game for anybody. For him, it's like Tuesday. It's fucking out of control. But those were the only two games that felt like playoff basketball because of the rivalries, because of the intensities, and because everybody played. So NBA, have everyone playing. Your sport is really fucking good. Real quick, Patreon plug. I got crushed anytime touchdowns this week, George.
No.
We are now 15 units up. We lost about 13 units. And thank God Jamar Chase scored twice at plus 500 because it would have been bad. So 15 units on the year, anytime touchdown as of week 17. But exciting news, George and I were tallying our win totals before we started the show. And in the NFC, and you know how if you guys go back in the summer, and I'm sure we'll do this again, it's a really fun episode. We do it around June, maybe early July. We do our version of the pick segment, but on win totals. NFC, George, I went 4-1. AFC, I went 3-1 in question mark. Question mark is Bills over 11.5. They sit at 11 wins right now. I went and I looked at my notes and I said, well, if Josh Allen plays, they're a 12-win team, and he's been playing. In the AFC, my Ursulita was Chiefs under 11.5. Toxic one was Bengals over 9.5. They went under. Trust Me was Dolphins 8.5 under. So they can't get to 8. They can only get to 8 wins. Had to sweat that out because in the beginning of the year they were like 1-6, and you're like, oh shit. And that was my favorite bet of the whole. That's why it was a trust me. In this economy is Buffalo, and then Becky under Broncos 9.5. They surpassed this by like 4 games.
Damn.
And then in the NFC 4-1. I had Ursulita was the Lions 11.5 under. Trust me was the Niners 10.5 to the over. In this economy was Carolina 6.5. They went over. Commanders under 9.5 was my Becky, and the toxic one was Eagles over 11.5. They went. So 4-1.
It's pretty impressive. I wish that when we had put these win totals in, I would have parlayed it, played a lot of these straight, but I went 4-1 in the AFC. My only loss was the over 5.5 on the Browns win total. And had they started Shadur at the beginning of the year, I think we hit this. I think we hit this comfortably. But they didn't, and we lived to fight another day. My winners in that one were Steelers over 8.5. Titans over 5.5 was my toxic one. They go under. That hits. And my in this economy was Jets under 5.5, which was at plus money. It was at plus 120. And my favorite bet was Patriots over 7.5 wins. They crushed that. In the NFC, I'm 2-2 with one pending. The one pending is the Green Bay Packers under 9.5 wins was my Becky. They play this week versus the Vikings. And if they lose, that cashes. If not, I'm 2-3 in the NFC. But some notable spots there that kind of fucked me. The Buccaneers over 9.5 wins early on in the year. I mean, this looked like such a lock, and then they've been on a downhill slide. And I was also on my toxic one, which plays out really well, was Seattle under 7.5 wins, and they were the darlings of that NFC West. They smashed that win total. So waiting on that Green Bay finish. I hopefully am going to end up being 7-3 for my win totals for the year, which would be really, really nice. But we'll see if 9 shows up this week and helps your boy out. I'm glad we went back and we looked at that. It's a really good episode, and I think that going into the new season of VM, once the Super Bowl ends, you guys got to be tuned in to those episodes early on in the summer, because that's when the crystal ball is its most clear.
I mean, bro, you're not going to get me to argue with you. I want to give a shout out to Mahul Patel, who he made a future bet off our win totals. He had Bears 7.5. He had the Lions under 11.5 wins. He had Packers over 8.5 wins, and he had Minnesota under 10.5 wins. All the NFC North. He took our predictions and our convictions, and he hit this bet. I'd have to go and check this to confirm, but I think in the last 10 years, it's only happened twice where an entire division went over or an entire division went under. So, it's like when Josh used to do this show with us that one time. He had like 18 teams, 12 wins. It's like, yo, bro, it's just not schedulally possible to have that scenario go down. So shout out to him for that. To your point about the crystal ball, look, man, where we're sitting at right now, we had the Bears plus 650 cash on the division. The Jaguars are 1 win away from plus 350 to win the division. Matthew Stafford 45-1 to win MVP. Right now, at the time of recording, this is Monday early morning before the Falcons game. He's minus 250 to win MVP. We had Rams Bills to be the Super Bowl at 40-1. Had Rams to win the Super Bowl at 25-1. Right? Like, there's a bunch of these that are really important to bet them when you bet them, because now you look at this position where I'm gonna keep it real with you, George. Only because of the way things shook out in week 17, I've made an emotional hedge with Drake May MVP at plus 200. I bet that because I'm like, yo, listen, there's a possibility Stafford sits week 18. They'll have nothing to play for. Now, McVay has done this in the past. Why I think it's different this year is these guys are up for awards. Like Stafford has never had an MVP. He's having an MVP year. Like, when does he get here again, kind of thing.
Right.
So I think they play it out to maybe stat pad. Look, they play the Falcons tonight, like I said, and then they play Arizona next week in Los Angeles. That could be throw 19 touchdowns. We're going past every play. Like, let's just pad the stats. And then
Right.
Puka's up for OPOY as well. So, I want people to listen to every episode, but I understand things come up. That's why we do the Patreon for $1. You can get all our picks. Things happen. I haven't listened to no other podcasts since I came to New York. And I'm listening to a couple, but I just, things get in the way. So I understand. So patreon.com/veterans minimum, $1 American a month. George,
yes.
Let's get into week 17, bro.
Let's do it, dude.
I love the banter that we had, but we got to get into week 17. What game do you want to start with? I know what I want to start with. Let's see if we're on the same type of time.
49ers Bears.
Now we're talking. This is why
49ers Bears prime time.
Us two are on the same type of time, sir. What'd you like about that game?
What I liked about it is that I got to sweat out a anytime touchdown parlay. I had put Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams to both score a touchdown. I think the odds were like 45-1 for both of them to score a touchdown. Brock Purdy obviously scores 2, and then Caleb Williams has some chances there, especially on the very last play of the game. It would have been just the sweetest feeling in the world. I had a really shitty situation, Nick. Yesterday, my brother comes over to my house. He invites over some of his friends. One of his friends walks in. And the first thing he says is like, "Oh my God, I need the 49ers to pull this out to win a lot of money." And I was like, this is my house. This is my house. And you're coming in here. That's the first thing you said. A hello would be pleasant, but instead you tell me that you're on the opposite side of my bet. That wasn't too fun. But I got to sweat it out at the end. And I honestly, the only thing I'll say is what this game taught me is don't ever expect defensive greatness when you have two high-powered offenses like this. There was a bit of me that I was like, they're going to ratchet it up a little bit because playoff implication, the seeding, you don't want it to go through San Francisco. The defenses are going to show up, and I was wrong. And I never want to miss this spot again because this is the best spot to put in any same game parlay because there was zero defense played. Absolutely non-existent. The over hits halfway through the second quarter, and it just seemed like both teams were just moving the ball up and down the field all night. I'm never going to miss a spot when we have two really good offenses to just put in as many $5 same game parlays as possible because you have a chance. You have a chance, and that game last night provided it. I will finish with this. Bears, don't be worried. You're going to be back in the same exact building, if you're lucky, in about 4 weeks. I think that they can do it if they get that same matchup again. I think Ben Johnson can get the better of them because that 49ers team, man, it's all centered around Christian McCaffrey. And you really have to buy into the philosophy of let Jake Tonjes beat you, let Ricky Pearsall beat you, let Juwan Jennings beat you. And if they beat you, you lost. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to accept that was the game plan you put forth. But you can't go into it and not try to, with every bit of your being, slow down C-Mac. And C-Mac went crazy. What were your thoughts on this game?
So, bro, I think they try to stop him. They just can't, bro. Like, I think the game plan. It's like, dude. My bad for bringing up the Rams again. You guys know I got a boner for the Ram. I'm not going to pause it because I got a boner for the Rams, right? Like, everyone's asking me, like, yo, how should I bet this Rams-Falcons game? And this might age poorly. I don't know. But there's no reason why Puka don't have 15 for 300 tonight. No Devontae Adams. Like, They can't. He should go crazy, but I'm not betting that because I got OPO. I got a bunch of shit going on. And I say all that because I'm sure the Falcons are going into it like, hey, we got to make someone else beat us. It can't be Puka. You know who else did that? The fucking Seahawks last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago. And Puka had 12 for 225 and 2 touchdowns. Like, sometimes greatness just fucking runs wild and takes over, bro. And there's just nothing you could do. And if you're looking at C-Mac, yesterday, 181 total yards from scrimmage. He scored a touchdown, 27 touches. They show the sideline where the doctor's shooting him with that ray gun shit. Shout out to the Call of Duty zombies fanatics out there. But he's just shooting him up, the back massage because he's literally carrying the team. Brock Purdy's one of the hottest quarterbacks going right now. Once again, has a monster game. I sent a text to the fantasy group chat. I'm like, damn, bro. Imagine some people playing 16 weeks of fantasy football just to get packed up by Brock Purdy. And my one friend is like, this is yearly fantasy to a T, bro. Parker Washington outscores JSN in the championship game. Like shit, Jahmyr Gibbs, all-time generational dud for, carries you there and then lays an egg. But I also have King Henry, who went for a 4-piece on Saturday. So I think not getting at you, I just think this is something that we've all said in the past. Like, all you got to do is take away this guy. It's like, bro, they try, but they just can't. Like, you don't think teams go into games like, yo, we can't let Jokic run wild. And guess what Jokic does? Run wild. So, to your point, the whole focal point of the offense is McCaffrey in every aspect. And I just think that teams try to contain him and keep him in check, and they can't. If you're looking at the Bears side of things, I think to your point, like, bro, has another team lost games and you felt better about them than Chicago this year? Like, they lose to the Packers and you're like, yo, bro,
they were there.
I really like Chicago, right? They lose to the Niners and you're like, hey, man, they got down to the 5-yard line last play of the game. Like, they're a really good team and they're here to stay. And to segue just briefly into the Lions, who were the favorite coming into the year to win the division. They were a Super Bowl contender. I didn't buy them at all. I think they've been the most fraud team of the last 2-3 years. I never was on board with the Lions. Like, yeah, a couple of games here and there, the spot coming off a loss, off a bye, at home. Like, I like certain spots, but overall, it's just like, yo, bro, there's just something about them when it's like gut check time. I can't buy into them. I kind of feel the same way about Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. We'll get to them in just a little bit. So I feel good about this Bears team. Like, dude, think about this, right? NFL is such a crazy sport because of the sample size of games being what it is. Your take week to week changes. How many times have we fucking flip-flopped on Bryce Young?
Endless.
27, 28 this season alone. I'm talking about this season alone combined, right? Think about how you felt about Chicago maybe around week 13 and how you feel about them now. Like, dude, we were talking about, yo, I can't wait to bet against them in the playoffs. Now you're like, I don't know, bro. They're gonna host a playoff game. It's gonna be cold in Chicago. O-Block gonna be crazy. I'm just saying, like, things change week to week. What did we say 2 weeks ago about Buffalo? Man, I'm going to have Josh Allen anywhere. I don't know how I feel about Josh Allen because I think he's hurt now. I don't think he's moving the same. We'll get to them in just a little bit. So it's just so fascinating. I think the NFL, there's a sense, the reason why the NFL works, George, in my opinion, and I would love for you to give me your thoughts on this, it works because there's urgency. Every game matters. You go on a 3-game losing streak, you're probably getting fired in some instances. There's urgency. Every game is important. Every division game is important. You can't go on a skid. You got to get hot and healthy at the right time. You're looking at teams like Houston, 8 in a row. Teams like Jacksonville, 7 in a row. You're looking at Buffalo, a little banged up right now. You looked at what happened with the Chiefs, banged up, lost a lot of big names. You're looking at teams like Denver, kind of just staying afloat, but now everything's going to go through Denver, most likely, minus 800 to be the 1 seed at the moment. So, and then, of course, you have the fantasy football and the gambling aspect of it, too, where, like, let's not be ignorant. That's a big reason why. I think urgency creates the NFL that we know now, why it's so popular. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the urgency, the storylines, the schedule makers did it right this year as far as giving us quality playoff caliber matchups for the last 5 weeks, really. We have not experienced a really slow week in football in a while, and that's it's due to the superstars doing what they need to do. You're also the NFL's really good, Nick, at just riding with the storyline that's hot at the moment, and they bury everything else that does not fit that narrative. And if you don't think that they do this, then you're crazy. But it is exactly what I'm sure the NFL, at some portion of it, their PR team sends off the email notification to the ESPN, the Fox Sports, the CBS Sports, and they're like, hey, these are the teams. This is what you will be talking about, and you're going to be talking about them because that's all we are going to promote. And you see it in the incentive week that's about to come up right here. The number one thing that I saw on ESPN last night was incentive week, stand by, and so that's how they're generating that interest for the last week, especially a week in which they know is a nothing burger week. They know a lot of people are resting, and we hinted at it on last Monday's show, that the incentive week has now been diluted to everybody knowing about it. There's no advantages for the bettors. And the only reason they do it, Nick, is to make people watch a toilet bowl game with no playoff implication.
My hand's been like this during your whole rant. Like, hey guys, I told you to be careful, didn't I? Like, this is incentive week. You know why? Because there's no other games after. So in week 16, they're posting, this guy needs one touchdown for 750,000. It's like, bro, he has 3 chances to make this happen. And I know for a fact, because I had a lot of fans reach out to me, and I had a lot of my friends be like, yo, bro, Keenan Allen needs 8 catches. It's like, bro, he has 3 weeks to make that. So don't fucking hammer his overs now.
Right.
Alt catch it, alt receptions it for 8. Like, no, bro. And to your point, when the sports books start to promote a thing, it's over. Get the fuck out. George, World Cup's right around the corner. They start promoting both teams to score and correct scores. I've lost my touch, bro. My fastball is no longer 101. It's 92 on the corner, and it's getting fucking sent to the upper deck. Like, and that's the thing, right? So incentive week, just be careful. Just be careful. Look, Niners got a path to the 1 seed, right? And it's going to come down to what happens in week 18. They play the Seahawks, winner takes all matchup. It's the Saturday night game. Seahawks go to the 49ers. Let's talk about the Seahawks because they beat the shit out of the Panthers in one of the ugliest games I think I've seen from 2, air quotes, good teams, right? Like, that was on the 4 box. I was watching it closely. Obviously, trust me, was Carolina. Felt really good at halftime. They get a turnover. They got a bunch of turnovers, but they just weren't able to capitalize. Look, Bryce Young, man, flip-flop number 29, George. He didn't have 55 yards passing, bro. Drake May had that in the first drive, I think. Some of these quarterbacks have that in a drive, bro. Like, what are we doing? And then Sam Darnold, in a big spot. And I know this was a homecoming game kind of sorts for him going back to Carolina. This game was fucking egregious. It was ugly. It got me so mad. Dude, I don't know if you caught this play, but it's 3rd and 21 for the Seahawks. And they throw like a quick little hitch out to JSN. And you know what the DB does, bro? He face masks him.
Oh, I did not catch that play.
It was a 1-score game, 3rd and 21, got him back against the ropes. Face mask. It's like, oh. And it was their best corner, too. I'm almost confident it was J.C. Horn, which also sucks. But it's just like, bro, listen, man. If you talk about scheming to take a guy out, I really think, like, at least with the Niners, bro, Jawan Jennings has beaten you. Kittle's going to be back. He could beat you. Tonjes, when he steps into the Kittle role, he makes some big plays too. Now, they're not the caliber of those guys, but like, dude, you take away JSN, talk about a team where you're like, yo, listen, we're triple teaming JSN. We're giving them that Megatron Detroit Lions coverage where we'd have 3 guys on them. Yo, Cooper Kupp, go ahead, bro. AJ Barner, go ahead, bro. Chardonnay and Walker, go ahead, bro. Try to take a screen on 3rd and 4 that we know is coming. Try to see if you could break 19 tackles and make a play. Like, JSN, you're not beating us. That's how I would approach playing the Seahawks. Like, yo, everything. Bump and run, safety over the top, linebacker shading over. Like, no slant, no fade ball, nothing. Because their offense, that's the reason why I don't like Seattle. I think when they play good offenses, their defense gets exposed. It's not as good as people think it is. And then also their offense, dare I say, is one-dimensional with JSN. That fucking game pissed me off, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I could tell. I could tell you're peeved by this one. I do have a stat here from Sam Darnold here. Seattle is now 5-1 in games in which Sam Darnold has 2+ giveaways in 2025. No other quarterback has more than 2 such wins in 2025 entering the late games. So he's getting bailed out on a huge cataclysmic proportion from this team, because it was starting to look a lot like, oh my God, Sam Darnold, another big game, still not looking like the Sam Darnold when he's playing the Titans week 5. Now, I will defend the defense just a little bit, because I do think that if this Seattle team has any semblance of hope to make a run, this defense has to like gear up to what they were at the very beginning of the year, where we were starting to feel like the Legion of people were starting to say Legion of Boom 2.0 with the way that they were coming together. And obviously, as the years progressed, Imanowari is definitely their stud on the defensive side, does everything, plays like the Kyle Hamilton role if you're going to compare him to any other players in the league. He's been battling health issues all year, and really right around now, if this Seattle team wants any, or it can make any run, it's going to be from that defensive side stepping up. And I know they made Bryce Young look kind of pedestrian yesterday. This is just, I put him on my ban list, and I cannot buy into this Panthers team just yet. And I'm glad I didn't. Rico Dowdle's also been on the downward slide too. And when they don't have him going, then that Carolina team is average. And so the Seahawks, they made the most of it. They're 13-3, Nick. It's crazy when you look at some of these records for these teams that you're like, oh, you're getting bounced. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. You're not making it past week 1 of these NFL playoffs. But, you know, congrats on the 13 wins. You did amazing.
This would never happen because you reward teams for regular season success. But it got me thinking as I was watching that game, as I was watching Denver on Christmas, like, could you imagine if the NFL playoffs were all on neutral fields, how much different you would feel about things? Because I strongly believe, bro, that it is wide open. And if you look at the odds from a betting standpoint, and if you were to just look at Super Bowl favorites, right? Or just the Super Bowl odds, bro, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 9 teams that range from plus 400 to plus 1100 to win the Super Bowl. Like, they're telling you, hey, man, we really don't have an idea. We kind of have a feeling, but we don't know. Do we trust Denver as a 1 seed with Bo Nix? Do we trust Sam Darnold as a 1 seed? But the thing that I keep going back to, and a bet that I've been looking at, bro, and, you know, it's kind of a donation, but staying with the Seahawks, I didn't make this bet, but I was looking at it. It was 18-1 last week, before these games played. Seattle, Denver to be the Super Bowl. I would hate it. I don't think it would be appealing, but it's like, I fucking hate both of these teams. I think if they're both the 1 seed, it'll be hard to beat them in their buildings. But if you were to play them on a neutral, which is why I even posed this question to you, what you would think about it. And again, internet, I understand this isn't going to happen, but I'm saying in a hypothetical, how much different would you feel if games could all be played like, hey, Denver, New England, you're playing in Vegas?
Yeah, I would. Here's the one thing I would like, because there's so many college stadiums that trump the size of the biggest NFL stadium there is in MetLife. You know, I want to see an NFL game with 100,000 people. Like, I don't think that this should solely just exist for college, and I really like that idea, because there's tons of venues all around the country that would allot for both fan bases to fill it out in a way that's similar to a game that I love and I've been to many times, the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is the ultimate iconic. It splits halfway down the field. All the fans from, Big Ten school on this side, all the fans from the Pac-12 school on that side. And it allows for just an environment unlike anything else. They should look into something like this. And I think that there would be a way to kind of build it up almost like the college football playoff and the bowl games. I know that it would lose the luster of wanting to get home field advantage. Shit, Nick, I thought you were about to say it would be crazy if at the end of the year, if you made the playoffs, like we reseeded you based on, who we think is the true number one seed versus other
like a BCS
teams.
Poll.
Yeah, like a BCS. Once you make the playoffs, but you could be 1 through 7 until the committee selects. That would be bullshit. But I do like the neutral site thing for the sole purpose of NFL stadiums just can't fit the amount of people that you would want to fit into a stadium to watch a playoff game.
And bro, speaking of like neutrals, like San Francisco has a chance to not. Mike Tirico said something really dope yesterday during that Bears game. He was like, if they hold on and win this game and then win next week, they could put the suitcases away for the rest of the year, because then they'd have the 1 seed and the Super Bowl is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So like this is a massive, massive game. And then, this is another scenario. Like, and again, this might age poorly, but as someone that's financially invested in the Rams, I feel better about playing San Francisco than Seattle in the playoffs, like in their building. Because, like, bro, at some point, these injuries got to catch up to them, right? And it's just like, hey, man, what if something happens to McCaffrey? Because he's getting 30 touches this week. Because this is essentially a playoff game for them also.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really weird. Last thing I'll say on this is it's tying into Carolina. Depending on what happens in this Monday Night Football game, say the Falcons were to upset the Rams as 8-point underdogs. Do you know, George, if the Falcons win their next 2 games, no matter what happens in the Panthers and Bucks game, the Panthers win the division?
Wow.
They have the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay if they have the same record, because head-to-head matchup, they would have split it. But in division record, Carolina has a better record than Tampa Bay. Therefore, if Atlanta wins in Week 17, and again, this might age poorly, but if they were to beat the Rams on Monday Night Football and then win next week against the Saints, the Panthers can celebrate even if they lose to Tampa. And then, last thing, which segues into this Steelers-Browns game, there is a possibility, George, that we have a 12-win team going on the road to play an 8-win team in both conferences. Well, in the AFC would be a 9-win team if Baltimore, or a 10-win team if you're Pittsburgh. But regardless, you're going to have a team with a better record going on the road. But in the NFC, more so than the AFC, you might have like a 4-game difference, which is going to bring the conversation up, especially if that wild card team loses. Like, do you do a reseeding and reward the top teams? Like all that. I believe that, hey, man, sometimes your division sucks and 8 or 9 wins gets it done. I'm rewarded for winning my division. It's how the cards fall. Like it's happened in the past. The Giants have won a division with 9 games. The NFC South, though it does happen there a lot more than other places, 8 wins has won the division, right? There was a Seattle team that won a division with 8 games, and then the Saints went in there, and then we got the Beastquake. So, like, that shit happens. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. You know, it is what it is, no pun intended. Shout out to Mason Cam for that one. Okay, I want to bring up a conversation I had during the Browns and Steelers game with our girl Arabia. Shout out to Arabia, all 32 NFL. She texts me and she goes, these Browns receivers, oh my fucking God. This was at 2:10 on Saturday Eastern time. I go, horrendous. One of the worst in the league. Fanning is nice, though. She emphasizes it. 15 minutes later, this is how you know my betting was going in the fucking gutter. I was having an awful first half. I go, Seattle sucks. Jaguars suck. Bucks suck. Steelers suck. All these teams are trash. People blowing Drake May for lighting up the Jets. They suck too. Sorry, I'm so angry. Don't bet. Just let me do it. She said smiley faces of the laughing crying faces, and she goes, yeah, they suck too. I was fucking angry. Drake May throwing 5 touchdowns against the Jets, and everyone's like, oh my God, he's MVP. It's like, yo, bro, listen, you dive into the numbers. Stafford got better numbers than him, and he's played one less game, and Stafford has actually beaten good teams. Drake May and the Pats have beaten teams that are picking in the top 10 in the draft order. I don't want to hear this shit. I'm fucking angry. I need Stafford. We need Stafford. Shout out to all 32. Shout out to Arabia. How would you feel about this Browns and Steelers game, bro?
Oh, man. I think that there was one quote said by Myles Garrett at the end that sums up this game perfectly. I think they wanted to prevent me from getting the record more than they wanted to win the game. And you saw it with the, and I know every team game plans to stay away from Myles Garrett. I mean, that's not a foreign concept, but you get a mix between that and then truly seeing what we had highlighted in last week's show, where no DK Metcalf and you're having to rely on the Scotty Miller, Adam Thielens of the world to carry the load of an offense. It's just not going to pan out the way you think it is. It was my toxic pick for the week. I was spot on with this one. And I mean, Harold Fannin Jr., I wanted to pull up his stats because ever since Shedeur started playing quarterback, Harold Fannin Jr. looks like an all-pro tight end. Like, and I love the number too. 44 on the boy is looking amazing. And so this game to me, it highlighted that all the things that I was thinking about the Steelers are true. And Arthur Smith goes on like these runs where like everyone like starts mentioning his name again as like a solid offensive coordinator. And then you see a performance that he put up like this. And mind you, I know everybody's out, but it's the Browns. You gotta be able to put up at least 2 touchdowns against these guys, and not being able to do that with arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is pitiful. Harold Fannin Jr. has been going off. I did want to pull up those stats, so I wanted to hit you with his game log really since Shedeur came in. And yeah, bro, just the targets through the wazoo. He's gotten 4 touchdowns in the last 6 weeks. The dude's insane. That's my only notes from this Steelers game. What about you? How do you feel about the boys in the black and yellow?
Hey, man, we kind of hinted at it, and it might have seemed crazy. I said that DK Metcalf is probably worth a point against the point spread. Their offense, I mean, shit, right now at the moment, based on what we've seen, him and Puka are probably worth a touchdown. I know I'm being super fucking crazy with that, but like what they mean to their team in comparison to what they got behind them, like, bro, they couldn't move the ball for nothing. Like, you can have one white wide receiver. You can't have 2, right? Like, you ain't New England. You ain't Amendola and Wes Welker or Amendola and Edelman. Like, let's not get crazy. Listen, I know white boys are having a resurgence, George. It's been a good year for the exciting whites in many sports, but you can't have 2, right? Like, even the Knicks, they got Tyler Kolek. They got 1 white guy. Can't have 2. Now we're getting crazy, all right? And this is what Rodgers was dealing with. Right. And to your point, the way they were scheming up, they were having like 4 people block Myles Garrett. They just didn't want to have that be the case. And even with all that, came down to the last play, a goal line fade to MVS, which I think if he doesn't jump early, he probably brings that in as well.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I think a conversation needs to be had about Shedeur Sanders because, man, I watch him sometimes and I'm like, Arabia's text. The fucking receivers are horrendous. But you know what's not horrendous, bro, and not their fault? When you're rolling to your right and throwing to your left, and you gave a fair catch punt interception on one of those when you're just trying to milk the clock. I think the assessment of Shedeur Sanders coming into the year has played out exactly how he's playing. Holds on to the ball for too long, forces a lot of throws, is not the greatest athlete despite being Deion Sanders' kid. Runs on a 3rd and long, gets up and flexes. Bro, you didn't pick up the first down. Like, what are we doing? It's like when the DB celebrates for a pass breakup and they're like, it's like, bro, the receiver dropped the ball. You didn't like really do anything on that. Like you didn't do nothing on that play. You like this. Let me give you a side-by-side. Shedeur Sanders, 1,289 yards, 7 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Dylan Gabriel, 937 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah. You forgot to also label that Dylan Gabriel played 3 more games than Shedeur, and he has the same amount of touchdowns, and he was too conservative with the ball. I looked this up, Nick, and had you not had done that, like I would have been like shocked a little bit. But looking at the numbers, I mean, it's clear he's the better option. Less games played, more prolific passing the ball. He also is their second leading rusher. Like, that just goes to show how down bad the Browns are, that Shedeur Sanders in 7 games with 143 rushing yards is their second leading rusher on the team. What a fucking nightmare. That's crazy.
Yeah. And listen, Judkins got hurt. He had a really, really gruesome injury.
Yeah.
He was playing well. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do. They're definitely gonna bring in a new coach. Shit, I think that entire division might have new coaches, bro. I don't care that Mike Tomlin went over his win total and is above 500. Even if they beat Baltimore this week, right, and they get in, what happens if they get their shit punched in, and that's like 9 straight first round exits for Mike Tomlin? I think it just might be time. You're going to get a new quarterback, get a new head coach, and just start fresh from there. But yeah, it was. I don't believe in conspiracies really, but now you probably going to have Steel. Is that the Sunday Night Football game? What's Week 18 look like?
Did they come out with a schedule yet? They already told us what's flexed.
The schedule, yeah, because so on Saturday you got Panthers, Bucks, and then you got Seahawks, Niners. I mean, Sunday Night Football gotta be, yes, it is. Ravens, Steelers, yeah, Rodgers, maybe Lamar, but Ravens, Steelers, the matchup for the AFC North. That's going to be primetime television. Yeah, I just think that everyone in that division cleans house. Taylor's gone, Stefanski's gone, Tomlin's gone, and I think Harbaugh is gone too.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. And I can't wait to go back and clip this up for us because.
Oh, bro, hold on. You could clip this like 6 weeks ago. I said this too. Like, yeah. I was saying this. I've been saying this for like 2 months now that like, yo, I kind of feel like the whole North. And you know what else too, bro? As we segue into this Tank Bowl, and then we'll end with Bills Eagles. So like Raiders Giants, right? Giants end up winning. Once again in Week 17, they win a game they have no business winning or shouldn't win. That alters a draft position. I really felt like, why not lose that game? But Jackson Dart even said, he's like, yo, we want to win, bro. Like, we don't give a fuck about all that. We want to win. As a fan, I wish they didn't win. I also think, paint this picture for you. I don't think it's a lock that the Raiders are going to be the 1 seed. I think the Raiders play at home this week. They play Kansas City. Kansas City is a 7.5 point favorite. If they want to tank, throw Geno Smith out there, but he might be hurt. Who knows who comes in? Is it going to be O'Connell? Is it going to be Kenny Pickett? But at home, and the Giants play at home, they play the Cowboys. I think the Giants can still get the number 1 pick overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the reason why I bring that up is, dude, I think this year, I don't know what the record is in NFL history for the most available head coaching jobs. I think this year is going to break it. I think you're going to have the entire AFC North. You're going to have Tennessee. You might have Indianapolis. Listen, they were 7-1 and they missed the playoffs. Yeah. Right? So that's 6. You got the Giants, you got the Raiders. You might have the Jets. You might have Miami. That's 11. You might have Arizona.
Yep.
You might have Dallas will be okay. Philly will be okay.
Tampa will be fine. Yeah.
I don't know. Tampa might not be fine, bro. That's a good call there on your end. Tampa, if Bowles, if they don't make the playoffs and they're like 1-7 in their last, like crashing out the way they did, that could be a conversation at least. Like, hey man, are we good there? Not for nothing, Matt LaFleur, if it wasn't for a 7-seed playoff, he doesn't make the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers. That's maybe we start having a conversation there. I'm just saying that there's going to be a lot of available positions. And if you also dive into it further, bro, there's some really enticing jobs. Shit, Buffalo might be. I know you've been calling for McDermott for like 2 years now.
Yep.
And that's a good way to get into this game. Bills, Eagles. Shit, Josh, this is the first time I can remember Josh in a big spot not delivering or like maybe not delivering because I know they've lost big games. My buddy Nick calls him Mr. Almost. Like, almost. That's almost. Misses a wide open Shakir, who's his go-to guy on the 2-point conversion. Hey, let me ask you this. Do you feel like that was the right call, the 2-point conversion there?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, it was. They knew they had that play call, and they knew that if we get Shakir to go behind the linebacker, fake an in cut, and break out, nobody will be there. It's a different story if Josh Allen's sprinting around back there like how Caleb Williams was on the last play of Sunday Night Football. There's a difference. Like, that play was put in Monday last week, and it was designated to get them the victory. And so when you have those plays, of course, that is the moment to run it. Like, when else are you going to run it? And for those people that said, like, momentum is on your side, like, why would you not want to take it into overtime? I'm going to be honest with you. If I had the ability to beat the Eagles without the Eagles getting a chance to beat me, I'm taking that every fucking time. It's the Eagles. It's not the Broncos. Okay? It's not the Patriots. And I'm giving you playoff teams because this situation is going to pop up again, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You do not want to give the ball back to the Eagles, and you don't want to have to go through everything you just went to. And then I'll say this too, just as like a cherry on top. The health, you're talking about a full extra quarter of gameplay that you could possibly be making your guys go through in a time of the season where, I'm going to be honest with you, let's just rock it. Let's buckle up the chin strap for one play, and let's see where the chips fall. How did you feel about the 2-point play call?
Man, I like to think that context is everything, right? And in the past, I've said, if I have a chance to put a dagger in the team, I'm going to do it, especially if my quarterback is an alpha the way he is. We cannot ignore the fact that I think, and I tell Cameron this all the time, not to name drop, even though that's my dog. I think his best take is kickers let down cities and alter legacies. I would tell this kicker who is filling in for Prater, I'd be like, yeah, come here, let me talk to you for a second. Fucking throw an elbow at him, like, oh, my bad, bro. Just quick throw another elbow. Like, how do you get your PAT blocked, bro? We don't have this conversation if these fucking losers, as a former Division III kicker myself, could just make a 33-yard field goal, bro. You make that field goal, Buffalo goes down, they score that touchdown at the end with Josh Allen, and then he kicks the PAT and they win it. Like, we don't have this conversation if these fucking losers can just hit a 33-yard field goal. George, we got to shoot this vlog, bro, so I can show people that I could bang 50-yarders so they don't know that, so they don't think that I'm capping. I'm really one of the best athletes in podcasting that wasn't a professional athlete. There's nothing I can't do on a field, on a court, on the mat. I am literally one of the best athletes of all time. I just, the beers and the bitches slowed me down a little bit as I was getting older. And also, I'm a 5'10" white guy, so my status was limited a little bit. But kickers alter and ruin legacies. Yo, Brady's the GOAT, right? What about Vinatieri, man? Vinatieri hit like 7 banger field goals that altered legacies. Gostowski came in after.
In blizzards.
Fucking spiraling wins from the left end. He's hitting them shits too. You know what I'm saying? So yo, bro, we need to also, Josh Allen might be banged up. Yeah, the play call. I get all that. But if this fucking loser just hits a PAT, we're having a different conversation. We're talking about what a comeback. Oh my God, Philly. Dude, Philly has 3 halves of sub 50 yards of offense this year.
Oh my God.
Like, bro, they are like, when it's bad, it's like JV high school football, first year starting the program bad.
That's such a great way of putting it.
Dude, it's like, yo, it makes no sense because you have AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you have 2 $20+ million wide receivers, you have a $20 million running back, you have an amazing offensive line. I know some guys are banged up, but overall, you still have an amazing offensive line. You have Dallas Goedert, who set the franchise record in touchdowns for tight ends, and you got Jalen Hurts. Like, bro, why does it look like you have a JV offense? It's abysmal. So I need to, because not enough people are talking about these fucking loser kickers, bro. And it sucks because that's how I would feel if I'm a Bills fan and a Bills player right now. I'd be like, yo, listen, man, I know we went for the jugular. I know I took you on a crazy path. I also feel like, again, context, I probably kicked the PAT there because the Eagles offense hasn't done nothing for 3 quarters. And I have the momentum on my side. And the crowd is fucking going crazy. So it's weird, man. It's weird. But I think we can't escape the fact that these fucking loser kickers, I've said loser kickers now like 7 times. It needs to be emphasized. The Giants are on their 4th kicker, right? Like, yo, you're altering cities. You're altering the crime rate in the city. Like you're doing a lot of shit that is ruining people's lives with these fucking PATs that you're missing. And George, last thing, I promise you, last thing. We're talking about PATs, bro. I'm not talking about like, hey man, listen, this guy missed a 58-yarder outdoors. I'll cut you a little. I can understand it. PATs, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That PAT point is another reason why I think the 2-point conversion was a good reason to go for it there. But this past game, right? Jalen Hurts has now won a game without completing a pass in the second half for the 2nd time this year. This hasn't happened since 1991. It hasn't happened at all in the last 2 football seasons where a quarterback goes completionless in the second half and they still win. That's where I think that this conversation really is extremely interesting to me, because you get the offense that goes stagnant, unrecognizable as far as the Eagles are concerned. But then how many times have we seen the Bills this year where the offense does not start playing till the 4th quarter? Cannot have this. But or at least this is the way I felt. Seeing the clock go down, maybe 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, you start playing the possession math in your game. Okay, if they get it down here, like this possession is a must-score possession just based on the timing purposes of it all. Once they scored the first one, and I saw that there was going to be just enough time left for Josh to have it, it's just like, why do you guys put yourself in this predicament over and over and over again? I think this is a case, Nick, of 2 veteran teams that are scary with all the talent that they have around them, but it's fake. They're like a butterface, right? The body's nice titties, nice ass, fucking tight waist, but then you look up and you're like, God, like why does it have to be this way? for two teams that, I mean, shit, I'm staring at an Eagles Saquon jersey right now, and I'm like, I can't believe this is in my house. But the only reason that's in my house is because they're that fucking good. I'm perplexed at what the Bills and the Eagles offensive coordinators do on a week-to-week basis, because it at times just looks so when you said JV, it just struck a nerve with me, because that's what the offense looks like. It's like a two-step drop back, and if the slant isn't there, oh well. Like, where's the creative play calls? You see shit that Shanahan ran last night. You see the shit that Ben Johnson was calling with fucking up wheels, double moves in the second level. You don't see any of that with the Eagles. And with the Bills, you get it occasionally, but especially with the Eagles, it's gross. And I'm scared for our Bills' future, for them to make it to the Super Bowl, just because if they don't get off to a quick start, having to watch Josh Allen come back at the end, you just know that there's only so many times that it's going to work.
Bro, we hit our plus 600 bet because of this. This is a trend now. And guess what? We're going to do this when they play in the playoffs too. I think what we should do is whoever the Bills play in the first half, they're winning. And then we take Buffalo to win the game after, because that's how it was shaping up to be. They were trailing at half, and they almost won it at the end, right? I think it's an issue, because eventually you're going to build yourself too big of a hole. And again, 21-0 against New England, that might be the first round matchup. As we segue into what happens in Week 18, I'm doing this because I'm just like, yo, George, we've been talking about this. I think sometimes you don't understand how good we really are at this shit. Because we've painted this picture verbatim, and even about Philly, bro. Like Philly, I'd be lying to you if I'm not looking at them 13-1 to win the Super Bowl. I'm just like, man, what if they've just been cruising, and then they're gonna host a playoff game, and then like the veteran experience going on the road, like I don't know, man. It's just something that I've been thinking about. But to your point, like, it's 4th and 10. You got to run a hook and ladder. Like, it's not 4th and 21. And that was a dope play that they ran, and it was sick.
Oh, yeah.
But yo, bro, you're running that. To me, what I thought of when I saw that play that Buffalo ran, it's like, yo, they don't have nothing in the playbook to pick up 10 yards that they're confident in. They have to go to this hook and ladder. And again, sick fucking play. And it worked. But to me, it's like, dude, Brandon Cooks made the 3 biggest plays of the game for your offense. And why is James Cook not on the field on the last drive? Like, bro, you just paid him in the offseason. He's having a career year. Like, he literally is doing what you would want in a player, right? Like, how many times do guys get paid and then they regress? He's having his career year after you just broke the bank for him. Remember, this guy held out in the offseason and in training camp because he wanted to get paid. He gets paid, and treating him like a backup. Like, I don't get, and he could catch too. Like, don't tell me Ty Johnson and Ray Davis are better catch. Nah, bro, I want James Cook on the field.
Yep.
All right. I want him on the fucking field. And, it's just really frustrating, man. And I just think I don't feel as good about Buffalo. I think Josh Allen, his foot is a serious concern. And for as much as he is Superman, I think without the running, he's just Clark Kent, bro. He's just another guy. But when he could run, you're like, yo, Superman is here. And that's my assessment.
Yeah, and Superman is fun to watch, and Superman, in my opinion, is him. And when it comes to quarterback play in the league, there's so many times in which I'm watching a game and I'm like, you see a quarterback, it's a big time 3rd down or 4th down, and they just elect to sprint around the pocket, not escape, and lower the shoulder. And you're like, man, the luxury that Buffalo has to just know that you're going to get something competent sprinting down the field to try to get you a first down. It's such a luxury, but at the same time, it does take a toll on him. Can he do it for 5 more weeks? That's what we're looking for. You get a chance to, I mean, after losing that one, I knew they weren't going to get the home field advantage, but you get a chance to go on a little run here and get that week off before the Super Bowl. I just would love to see Josh Allen in a Super Bowl. Tell me that we would not put in him to throw 3 touchdowns and him to rush 3 touchdowns. Like, I think that it would be an all-time Josh Allen game. If and when they do make it. But I'm right with you on the fact that their supporting cast, Brandon Cooks making big time plays. Some of the catches that were made down the stretch in that game, I mean, it couldn't get any more cinematic with the way that they were bobbling. You almost got a David Tyree helmet catch. You got a whole bunch of fucking Kunyan Minshall practically tackled Shavers in the middle of the air, and the ball just lands on top of them. Everything was going right for the Bills yesterday, and yeah, I don't blame them for putting it in Josh's hands at the end to try to win it on that 2-point conversion. But that's what it came down to. And, you gotta live with that decision. And I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And speaking of coming down to the end, this is it for week 18. We have a couple of playoff implications that I want to run by you. So we have a loser leaves town match, brother, in 2 of the 3 division races. So NFC South, AFC North, win and you're in. Loser goes home. So we have Panthers, Bucks, Steelers, Ravens. The winner of that is the 4 seed hosting a playoff game. Probably going to be an underdog of a touchdown or more in that spot. Maybe Pittsburgh's like a 4-point underdog to Houston if that's the 4 or 5 matchup. Speaking of Houston, the 2 hottest teams in the NFL right now, the Texans, 8-game winning streak, the Jaguars, 7-game winning streak. AFC South, the Jaguars win, and they win the AFC South. They position themselves as the 3 seed. The Texans must win and have the Jaguars lose in order to win the AFC South. NFC West, like we mentioned, Seattle and San Francisco are in the playoffs. San Francisco wins, they win the 1 seed. Everything goes through San Francisco. If Seattle wins, they're the 1 seed. Everything goes through Seattle. And then it would be a Seattle hosting throughout the playoffs for as long as it goes. San Francisco would go on the road, most likely playing a Carolina or a Tampa Bay, the NFC South winner. Everything else in the playoffs is solidified. We know all the playoff teams, George.
Yep.
We know it's Denver. We know it's Houston, Jacksonville for sure. 2 teams out of the AFC South. We know it's New England. We know it's the Chargers and the Bills. The only thing we don't know is who is that 4 seed. It's either going to be Baltimore or Pittsburgh. And then in the NFC, we know it's Seattle, Rams, and 49ers all in the playoffs. Packers are locked into the 7 seed. And then we got the Eagles and the Bears. They could flip-flop, go 2 to 3. It all depends. Really wacky lines this week. Be very, very careful betting on these. A lot of these like winning or in scenarios, I believe teams against the spread that have nothing to play for versus a team that has something to play for covers 67% of the time. So just something to keep in mind. Detroit had something to play for on Christmas. They lost outright. Vikings ended up covering. So just be careful with that. Those are the playoff implications and the playoff scenarios. George, my Monday winner, 49ers minus 1.5.
I was going to say, bro, this is plus money currently on FanDuel or on DraftKings where I'm looking at it. Minus 1.5 plus 102. Continue.
Yeah. I just think I'm taking the better team, I think, right now, playing better. They're at home. It's Sam Darnold outdoors in a big spot. Yeah. That's my assessment, right? Like it's Sam Darnold outdoors in a big spot. Not for nothing, Sam Darnold with a win goes back-to-back years of 14 wins on 2 different teams. That is impressive. For as much of it as we like to nitpick and say it might not be all him, when you do it on 2 different teams with 2 different staffs and do different schemes, you gotta tip your cap. I don't think it happens though. Give me the Niners to win. Dare I say in a rout. I'm looking at minus 13.5 at plus 750. I think the Niners really dominate this game. And they just have a lot of good vibes and good momentum right now. And then them knowing that, like, yo, we have all these injuries. A bye week would be really nice. Wow. It's a big game, bro. Really big game. Give me the Niners minus 1.5.
If Sam Darnold pulls off the upset, he joins the company of Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers to be the only quarterbacks that have strung together back-to-back 14-win seasons, which means that he would be the only quarterback to have done it on two different organizations and franchises. That's impressive. Yeah, I will give him his flowers for that. I'm glad you highlighted the stat. It does not matter. It's not going to happen because I think that this 49ers defense, plagued by the injury bug early on in the year, has definitely helped them out. They look unreal. Their linebacker, number 48, forgive me, I'm going to forget his name.
Bethune?
Bro?
Yeah.
Bro, my type of guy. He would have been an amazing player in the Saints in the Sean Payton Bounty Gate era. He would have made a lot of money. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, what about real quick? Just like if you look at the lineage of linebackers for the Niners, they just always draft that position well.
P. Willie, Fred Warner,
Bowman.
Yep.
You remember Chris Borland, Boland,
yep.
the dude that like walked away. Yeah, like you said, Warner, Bethune, Winter, the guy that had the pick six on Monday night. Greenlaw also, yeah, like they just draft that position really, really well. It's kind of like Steelers wide receivers. When they draft a wide receiver, like, oh, he'll be a flex on your fantasy team year one. So, yeah, man. So we're both on the Niners?
No, my Monday winner, I was wanting to go with that Sunday night game. Give me the Steelers plus 3.5 versus the Ravens. I know it bucks everything that we said earlier on in the show, but in this spot, at home, triple renegade in effect, and Mike Tomlin has a dog at home. There's just lots of numbers that back that up, and I think that this is going to be the last push that the Steelers will have before they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Like, I think they'll be capable of putting it together one last time. And it's going to be, by the way, this will win by the hook, if anything, right? Like I'm expecting the Steelers to, maybe miss a field goal at the very end. However, I do like Mike Tomlin in this spot as a dog at home. That's my Monday winner, plus 3.5, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hey, bro, there is an insane trend between these two head coaches. The underdog in the matchup. George, listen to this shit. And I know you kind of hinted to it, but like the exact numbers. If you just blindly bet the underdog in Ravens Steelers under Mike Tomlin and Harbaugh, you cover 78% of the time. Don't matter who the quarterback is. Don't matter where it is. You just always take the underdog in this spot. You've bought 7 villas in Miami. Like it's an insane trend. And to your point, a home underdog. I know all the sharps are going to be on this, especially with the uncertainty of what happens with Lamar. And I don't know if this is a crazy take. I kind of want to leave Huntley healthy over a banged up 40% Lamar that it looks like.
Agreed.
I'd rather just do that. And I think Harbaugh knows, like, listen, if we're within 7, Henry's getting the ball every other time. Because he had a fucking all-time game. I'm really pissed I didn't bet the latter because I was out at dinner. And, of course, he has 3 touchdowns in the first half. This is a bet that I've been making the last, 3 weeks. And, of course, the one week I don't make it, he scores 4. But he benefited me. He was on my fantasy team. So, whatever. I win the money that way. Yeah, I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. Programming note, just for everyone to be aware as we wind down on this one. On Thursday, we want to wish you all a happy new year. Thank you for rocking with us. We're really excited for 2026. On Thursday, the Year in Review show is going to drop. My friend Dylan and my buddy Finney, who have been on the show in the past, way back when I used to film in Astoria in Queens, they're going to be on the show. We kind of just talk for 2 hours about best of stuff, like funniest moments, coolest moments, some wrestling talk, some sneaker talk, some hockey talk, for the Canadians up north. Love as it. Well. So we do a year in review, and then for the pick segment, George and I, for the picks, you must follow us on social media. You must follow us on social media for the Week 18 picks, like the Ursalitas and all that, because George is going to be traveling for the new year. I'm going to be traveling for the new year. We can't coordinate a time. I'll be traveling back to Vegas around New Year's as well. So just a programming note. Follow us on social media. I'll also put it up on the Patreon and then the Discord for all the fans. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. $1 American. That's all we're asking for. Help us continue to build out the show. You guys are our main sponsor, by the way. Patreon. You guys pledging to the show. It means a lot. It helps us do a lot. And then also shout out to the merch store. Shout out to you, George, for promoting the show shirts. Shout out to us promoting it. Shout out to all the fans that I bought shirts. And shout out to Marvin running the merch store. We got some exciting designs and drops coming up over the next couple of months as well. So I plugged a bunch of shit. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up as to what to expect over the next couple of weeks. George, take us home, brother.
All righty. Great team. Great on it. Check. Can. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.